Hello, and welcome to Interview with an Artist.
I've been moving forward in more obvious ways, ayy. I'm not the same homie from back in the pain. Like, what the fuck you think I'm supposed to do? Like, stay the same? Lame. Gang won't even let me do that to my name.
Okay, so welcome to Interview with an Artist, where I interview an artist. Today we are talking to Faust, the musician from OHTWO. How you doing?
What's that?
Not too
I'm
much.
doing good, man. How are you?
Good, dude. I'm excited about this new music coming out. When's that happening?
We are going to announce it. We're playing a show on the 12th. That we're basically, the album's been done and we got it mastered and all that. So we're actually going to perform it live in front of a bunch of people, and that's when we'll announce when it's coming out. But it's just basically because we're too lazy to pick a date. It's going to be the end of November.
Yeah. No, understandable. Yeah. So you're going to be playing for a bunch of people in Florida. What's that about?
Yeah, so we're in Orlando, and there's a bunch of weird, like, strangely impactful music happening here. Like, just a bunch of experimental guys doing stuff, and a lot of stuff come up of these younger kind of sounds. Yeah. So we kind of found a niche. We've been here for a minute. But we found a niche with all these people as like friends, and now they're like kind of interested in working together. So it's pretty cool.
Growing up in California, did you ever think that you would find yourself in Florida and actually liking it too? Yeah.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah. Because you did it, man. You've been there for a few years now. It's you've definitely made it your home. How is it living in Florida? Is it as crazy as everyone says?
Yeah, it's crazy as everyone says. The weather is pretty terrible. The people are either some of the best people you've ever met, or just some of the worst people you've ever met. Like, and not to get into this, not to give you stuff to cut out of the interview, but there's just a lot of really conservative people who are just kind of mean to strangers and like kind of bigoted. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, no, Florida, DeSantis, man. That's where that guy's at. So listen, I'm from Indiana, so I completely understand that you can be in a pretty conservative place and still be surrounded by like really cool people. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I've been to Florida a few times. Hopefully that changes one day. Maybe once they always say once the old people die out, like give it 20 years or something. Who knows?
It's what everyone keeps saying.
Yeah, but then the young people just become the new old people. That's the problem.
It's true.
Yeah. So, Faust. Well, isn't that name from the guy who sold his soul at the crossroads? Isn't that Faust?
Sort of. So you got two things mixed up there. There's a guy who sold his soul, and then there's a blues song called The Crossroads.
Oh, okay. Yeah. These are two separate instances of people selling their soul. Got you.
He told me the same shit. Just one involves slide guitar.
Right. Yeah. I remember that episode of Metalocalypse that references that. Yeah.
The Coming Blues.
Would you sell your soul to the devil for earthly knowledges and pleasure and stuff like that?
Well, that's interesting, right? Because it's ends justify the means, I guess. And I think I'm getting more mature, especially after COVID happened. I'm getting a little older, but there was definitely a time where it was just everything is all in. Give up everything for the goal. And that's how I ended up in fucking Florida. It's just all out of nowhere, just kind of going for it. Started this band, and it's always been a matter of like when you're making a masterpiece, you're hiding the brushstrokes. So I figured the more crazy, insane, self-deprecating effort we put in, if we just don't show the hard part, and we make it look really easy, and we make it look like it's a finished product that didn't cost us a lot of time.
No, yeah, I understand what you mean. That's great, though, man. The music's great. I feel like it's just a matter of time. Just the right people need to hear it or whatever. There's the problem with being a musician. I've talked to other musicians, too, is that there's just so many fucking musicians. I mean, how are you supposed to rise above? You have to be different. You have to know someone, blah, blah, blah. But and I'm not just saying, whoa, I'm really bugging out there. You're right. Okay. Anyway, and I'm not just saying this because I'm your friend either. I think you're a talented guy. It's just a matter of time. So I'm glad to hear that you gave everything up. But then during COVID, you had the realization that you actually had to like make money to survive and shit. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And more of a self-care thing too. I think COVID taught us all that it's like we got to kind of, take care of ourselves and the people we care about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I would.
But yeah, no. As far as to what you said, I know there's just so many projects happening at once. There's so many different musicians, and I think the big mistake a lot of people getting into it make is they want to be so good or like so much better than the rest that they can't be ignored. When really it's just like you just have to be yourself.
Yeah,
I think, it's like so cheesy. You always hear the cheesiest like musicians saying that. Like, oh, be yourself, man, and all that. But, like, I get it. Like, you really just find your own sound. Don't worry about anything else. Just genuinely try and be original. Like, that's it,
That's all you can do, man. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, for the record, I don't think I would. I don't want to be unfair to the devil or anything, but I've seen too much media that shows that it's like a rabbit foot situation, right? Like he gives you all that knowledge and then you fucking go crazy because of it or something. Or you get too much pleasure and your like dick explodes, Like it's just not, but the name sounds cool, Faust. So,
yeah, I feel.
Yeah. What else? When did you start making music exactly? That was because I know that you didn't really start with rap, did you? Or did you?
No, yeah, that's so. Damn, dude. Sometimes it's funny. Like we've known each other a long time.
Yeah, I know.
It was like 2013, 2014. I was the front man of like a band with my a couple of my guys back in LA. And I think if you remember, you and I were both like talking about Joy Division all the time and talking about all these other bands like, Bowie, all that, just that whole era.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that genre, right? And so when I moved out to Florida, I basically was like, I was doing a bunch of like just spinning records at places because it was like, there was a bunch of places like, hey, bring your own vinyl DJ set for like 30 minutes or whatever the hell. So I showed up, and that's where I met Bison, the producer of O2.
Oh, okay.
My better half. And it was like I was always kind of rapping. I was always kind of freestyling for years and years and years. And my buddy, who was also there, said, hey, man, this is Faust. Like, he raps. Like, do you want to rap? Do you want freestyle or whatever? And it's like, oh, cool. So basically, the first time I really rapped with Bison was like he was playing live, and I just jumped up there drunkenly rapping on his beats. And it turned out since then, it was like that day we were like, all right, next week we're meeting up and recording. Like, it was crazy. So
cool. Yeah. So you and him are like the two, is that O2? Because it's two people? Where does O2 come from? I guess is the question I should be asking.
So O2 is it is just two members, but we actually had another rapper before, but he left the group just because he was just kind of like not with the vision, and his genre was different, and there was a bunch of personal stuff going on between us. Oh, okay. So we just kind of like distanced ourselves. So it was like O2 was just kind of like. It sounded cool. It was like an air, like oxygen kind of thing,
Yeah, no, it does sound cool. I guess I never really questioned it before. I just hear it and I'm like, that sounds cool. But now I have to question it because I'm interviewing you,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. What are some musical inspirations? That's a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as my vocals, I've always been like really into Interpol and like Joy Division. And like all that sad shit, I just happened to be rapping, and it's a great way for me to like kind of just be super honest and all that stuff. And I think those bands were always really good at just like lyrically kind of putting it all out there, which was really cool.
Yeah.
As far as like sonically, the whole album we listened to a bunch of like late 90s really cheesy, like electronic music. Like there's this group called Everything But the Girl, and they it's a duo who makes like high end women's fashion store music. Like it's very like glistening and like shiny, and so we did a bunch of that, like, you know, them, Massive Attack, like all these other really influential 90s kind of groups, and a bunch of jungle and garage music too. And we just kind of wanted to make like, I don't know, like kind of a snippet of like a Nokia cell phone commercial from the 90s, and like and like all the just imagery of that kind of era, like, but it's trap music, like, you know, it's modern. So but, you know,
so that's the genre. Would you say it's trap music?
It's hard, man, because it's, if you listen to like Playboy Cardi and then you put on O2, it sounds completely different. So I think what we've been calling it is like post pop, like it's pop music, but it's kind of in like a more somber direction. It's a more like songwriters direction.
Yeah.
We're making like album music, but I find a lot of rappers are really doing the singles kind of game. Yeah. And they're just dropping like, you know, 30 singles a year.
Hey, side note, real quick, I'll cut this out. I'm not looking at my phone texting. I was looking at a list of questions that I had written down, just so you know that I'm not like in another world texting someone. Just
oh, you did, bro.
I'm just saying, because I knew that I was looking down. I just wanted you to know that, so you're not like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's not even like paying attention. This is bullshit. You know, I was trying to open up the list that I had here. Would you, I know, you know, when we were, when I first met you, we talked a lot about Samurai Champloo and Nujabes, and in some of the songs, I've definitely felt kind of like a chill Nujabes beat, and I know that one of the songs you actually had, the visualizer was like that cool scene from Samurai Champloo, and I've seen like a little bit of that, and I remember back in the day, you told me you insisted, because I was kind of questioning whether or not I should buy this limited edition vinyl of Samurai Champloo Nujabes. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I should get it or not, you know, but I was like, but I really want to. And you were like, dude, you've got to. You're going to regret it if you don't. And I bought it. I wish I had it here. I had to leave it back home because I was afraid with traveling with it, with the way that we were packing luggage and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nothing's changed for me. Is like, I'm still in love with the same music, but I've just kind of matured more. But what I would say is, when I fell in love with rap was like when I was very young and I was getting into like Flying Lotus and Nujabes and all that. It was like more of like the beat makers like Dilla and stuff like that. Yeah. That really, wow, holy shit! Like this is this whole new world that's like, you know, their sample choices are so like emotional and like chill.
Yeah, Flying Lotus is insane. Like I could see being inspired by that guy. He's fucking nuts. Such a talented dude. If you could, speaking of Flying Lotus, if you could work with any artist, living or dead, who would it be?
Oh shit, bro. That's a tricky one, because it's we on our last album we looked up to this one rapper. I'm not going to say any names, but really looked up to this one rapper, and he's big, and he actually got in contact with us, and we were going back and forth, and we got a feature with him, and he's like, yeah, man, like just send me like, you know, like $500 and I'll do the feature like right now. And we sent him money, and he ended up just like running off with the bag.
Whoa, that's so. Oh, poor. That's fucked up.
Oh, no, it's not bad, because we did an IP thing and we found his phone number, but it wasn't his phone number. It was his dad's phone number. And so we called him like, hey, where's our fucking money? And he was just like, who is this? Like, so we called this old black dude in Chicago. His son is a famous rapper. And he like obviously called his son right afterwards, because the money came right back. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? Why would he do that?
You know, it's like, I don't know. This guy, again, I'm not going to say any names, but he's
Kanye West. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was Kanye.
It was Kanye West from Chicago.
Yeah.
I put the pieces together. Yeah.
He started talking about eugenics.
And I was like, ooh, I don't know if we want to work with you or not. It's like, I like your jams, Kanye, but ooh, I don't.
Oh man,
I heard some stuff on Twitter that's not so cool, man.
No, but if you look at this one particular guy, he's like in the last couple years, he's gotten like so fucked up off of the lean. Like he's all like, you get a gut from drinking lean.
Yeah.
So he's all like fucked up, and it occurred to me he's just like scamming his fans, and like just drinking all this fucking lean. And it's like that's not a cool guy. So when you to return to your question, like if you say like who would you? It's hard if you don't actually know the artist.
Yeah.
Because like I could say like Flying Lotus, and then he does a Louis C.K. and just jacks off in front of us or something. Like
that's true. Yeah.
You don't know, man.
Yeah, you really don't.
Also, no hate, like don't listen to this, Flylo. Like I love you.
No, I'm sure that he doesn't do that.
I'm sure.
But you never know. I get where you're coming from, yeah.
Possibilities there,
That would
suck. You can always be prepared for someone to whip the shit out. Like
that would suck because then you couldn't really listen to Flylo anymore too, if that happened, because it wouldn't be the same. You know what I mean?
You'd be just like Louis, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was kind of with. Speaking of Kanye, that was kind of what happened with, because I like Kanye West music quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
But it just got worse and worse. Wait, I cut out. There I am. It got worse and worse and worse, and at a certain point, I'm like, this is just. I feel like now it's weird to listen to this. Like I'm embarrassed. Yeah. I'm embarrassed to listen to this in front of anyone. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting. I mean, I feel the same way. It's like my thing though is so separate an artist from their art is one thing. But this guy, like, here's the thing. If you're looking to a musician for, like, good worldviews, you're, like, looking in the wrong place.
Right.
They're usually, not many of them are smart. Like, really good artists. That's the only thing that's their career, right? So, like, that's one part of it. But the other part of it is he has such a platform that he's just informing all of these racist-ass people.
Yeah.
To, like, supercharged,
he's become like the spokesperson for like the Republican Party right now or something
like that. He's the avatar of like late stage capitalism. Like, he's like this super powered, like race doesn't exist. Like,
no, I get what you're saying. I like because I try to do that too. Because there's like a lot of musicians that are super fucking terrible that have done like really awful things. But I kind of, if it's not too awful, I try to like not think about it. But then it gets to the point. Like Morrissey, for example, from the Smiths. The Morrisseys, I've always known he was like a complete piece of shit. But I kind of liked that about him because he's like a little impy, whimsical bitch that's like, fuck you, get away from me. He thinks he's like the greatest thing in the world. I'm like, that's kind of, and I kind of thought of Kanye in that way too, but then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, you're actually like kind of a terrible person. That kind of happened with Morrissey a little bit with the Brexit thing. I was like, that's kind of weird, Morrissey.
Well, particularly like, there's this cool interview, this guy, when he's speaking with him, something Fieldman, and he says like, he explains to Kanye West that when he says like Jewish media, that's basically the reason that's a problem is because first off, you're grouping a thing of people together, but more than that, it's like the last time those phrases were used were like Joseph Goebbels in the 30s,
right,
when he was trying to like pick a scapegoat. So it's like these things snowball, and you can't just start with this hate speech. Because there's already people back home, like my brother sent me on the 405, like over Hollywood. There's already giant signs of swastikas and people saying like, "Ye was right," and shit like that. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it does snowball, man, for sure. That's awful. Holy cow, did that really happen? That was in California? Jesus.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that happened like the day after his Drink Champs interview. I mean, it's fucked up.
Yeah, no, totally. That's where you just then at that point you're like, well, I can't listen to this anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Holy cow. I don't know. I think he has... We should make this whole interview about Kanye West. But
What if every interview was just about Kanye?
yeah, there's a lot to say. There's a lot to say. There's a lot to say. It's an interesting topic.
I got no time limit, man, so we could just chop it up and you could cut out whatever, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that with him... I don't know what the deal is, like, mentally with him, but I know that he's, like, hanging out with, like, Candace Owens and people like that now, and I think that anyone who, like, feeds his ego can get a pass if they're, like, popular enough or something. So it's like Fox News is feeding his ego, Candace Owens is feeding his ego, and then that's kind of, like, making his vision go in a, you know, that way. It's terrible, man.
Well, I don't think he's not aware of it.
Why couldn't it be like Ludacris or something? That was the guy who became a Nazi. Nothing against Ludacris. I shouldn't say that against Ludacris. But I mean, you know what I mean? Why couldn't it have been someone who wasn't like, who made good music? I don't know. Kind of lame.
The one who makes bad music?
Yeah. I shouldn't say Ludacris makes bad music. I don't want to talk shit about anyone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, why couldn't it have been fucking like Yeet?
Who's Yeet? I've never heard of him.
He's not a Nazi, but he sucks at music.
Yeah, is he just bad music? Yeah.
He just makes really boring. He's an alright rapper. He just makes really like boring ass music.
Oh, I see. See, so if he became a Nazi, you'd be like, wow, that guy's an asshole. Yeah.
Acceptable losses. Like, if we could lose Yeet, you know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. But it had to be, you know. Because like Morrissey, like I was saying, Kanye has always been, you know, he went on stage and was like, Taylor Swift, someone else should have won, blah, blah, blah. He's always been this huge diva kind of character, but that was like part of it. But then it's just gone to this new White Lives Matter level, you know?
It's wild, man. And he reminds me of that, like, he's that like 13-year-old kid at the playground who's just like regurgitating really edgy shit without understanding it.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think he grasps everything he says. I think he's, you know, he's obviously has some mental issues, but I think he's just latching on to things that seem really, really edgy because he's like lashing out, and that's sort of his personality too. It's anything that gets a response, like he'll play to the crowd. So.
Well, he's surrounded by yes men too that are gonna like feed into that edginess, and then everyone who doesn't feed into that edginess is like the enemy. So it's just going more and more in that direction. Like the further he goes. When are you gonna play that show? How soon?
We're playing November 12th on it's a Saturday.
Nice. I'm gonna try to get this out before then. I've been working on stuff, so I've been super busy, but it should be out before then for sure. So if you're in Florida, go to Orlando. Where is it at?
It's in the middle of the fucking woods. It's like, come on now. No,
I don't endorse this anymore. I don't know.
No, it's at this place called the Command Center. So it's like this dude who runs the local record label called Xylene Records. That's actually OHTWO's new album's going to be on. Oh, he has a house. It's like a Warhol kind of scene where it's just all the heads of labels, like Matthew Nihill of Pop Nihill Music, Josh Rogers of Illuminated Paths. That's, you know, Viper the rapper. That's his label.
Oh, that's cool.
All these random people are like showing up, but everyone's somebody. It's like a weird bohemian kind of like royalty thing.
That's awesome that you got in there then. Holy cow, that's great. How did that happen? You just met him through a guy or something?
Like, we knew these people for a minute, and it's like we met them through playing shows over the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, it was always like, because like you said, there's so many acts. These guys really only hang out with people who it's like, wow, that was so fucking different. Like, so there was a time, well, there's, you know, we're still doing our thing, but there was a time when we were like really fresh and we just had one album, but the energy was there and they kind of foresaw what we were going to do. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So does that make you Lou Reed? If he's the Andy Warhol, you'd be like Lou Reed. Maybe not Lou Reed.
Does that imply any? Or
Oh
which
wait,
one
did
was
Lou?
that?
No, Lou Reed didn't do anything bad, did he? Or he probably did, but it wasn't
I'm
as bad
glad
as Kanye, at least.
you caught on really quick.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I guess I'm the.
Lou Reed was pro-trans back in the day when it was like definitely not popular to be pro-trans. I feel like Lou Reed's kind of a cool guy, honestly.
Absolutely, him, Bowie, Mick Jagger. I was actually just questioning did Lou Reed blow anybody? Because at the time.
Oh, yeah, maybe, but I wasn't thinking about that. He might have. But if he blew someone, I bet they were, like, super fucking cool.
Hey.
Like, if you're getting a blowjob from Lou Reed, like, you're a super rad dude. There's no doubt about it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, full scene.
Yeah.
I'm just a cool guy.
For sure. But that's awesome, though. I'm so glad to hear. So, do you know, like, what are the future plans beyond this record? Are you already working on new music? Are you just ready to go out and perform the music you have now? What's
Yeah, well, we're gonna perform it a couple of times. But like really right now it's just like we have a bunch of songs we didn't put on the record because they just didn't fit.
Yeah.
And we're still recording new stuff. But it's like we've been recording. So we're just like for a minute, we're just gonna be like chilling. Like, let's do a couple music videos and then go back to work,
What's the process of making music videos like? Do you just have like a homie that usually directs it, or like?
Yeah, it's different every time, but usually we just find like a local video maker, videographer. Yeah, we usually just try and see somebody who's making cool stuff on their own, who's got like the vision, because the worst thing, because we used to do like a thing where it's like who in our friends group just owns a camera.
So that's another thing that's interesting about you too, is that not only are you a musician, but you're actually a super talented artist. I'm going to put up some of your art here.
Bam, look at that.
Here's another one. I'm going to pick good ones too, don't worry. Not that they're not all good, but I'm going to pick like especially good ones. But yeah, you draw too. So was there ever a time that you were thinking about doing that instead, or like what?
I do both, man.
You
It's
just
just
do
like, there was a time where it's just like I just had so much I just had to express. So it's like I'm just constantly doing both. Weirdly enough, it's been really hard for me to commit to making a full piece of art after lockdown. I don't know why, but what I've been doing is I found a workaround, like a cheat code, and I've been as funny as it sounds, I've been painting. You know what those like? You ever heard of like Warhammer?
Oh yeah, like little Warhammer, like Warhammer 40K, like the.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I'm just like, I just paint a bunch of those because it's kind of like a coloring book.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Like the little figurine things that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been really like kind of helping me with the whole art thing, trying to get back to being able to like, all right, I'm gonna start a piece. Like, but it's been a minute, man. I don't know why. I got like a weird funk. Music is just a lot more of like a journal, so it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It feels easier, at least for me, but yeah.
No, that's cool. You make great music, so I'm excited that you're on that journey. Okay. So, in one of your songs, I believe it's called Textures, it says, I'm always busy getting drunk, X always getting high.
I'm busy getting drunk, X always getting high. Wildin' out on the cusp, but rappers in my mind.
What do you mean when you say getting high? What are you doing that gets you so high?
I hike and I listen to the
Nice.
I like to feel the wind on my face. No, we don't have to get into it too much, but there's certainly if you listen to the music, there's certainly
yeah, no, it's a repeating theme I've seen.
Mephistopheles coming around your high with me. Mephistopheles banging the big guitars with me. Mephistopheles break them down Monopoly. Mephistopheles, oh.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what's he doing?
You know it's me. You know I'm high. You know I get it how I get it when I keep that shit in drop. Money said I look alright, but she doesn't know I'm high. Trying to stay the fuck alive, counting money through the night.
Yeah, man. Well, it's funny to damn, I don't know if I should talk about this on the interview or not.
because you live in DeSantis land, so maybe it's not.
Oh no, just because it's like I don't know the. Well, fuck it. All right.
No,
so
hey, listen. If you want to cut it later or whatever, you can. It's fine. Just tell me. Like maybe we shouldn't. Are you worried about like your parents saying it or something?
Oh no, they don't.
They've heard the lyrics too. They know, right?
Yeah, they're good. No, so that's interesting that you caught that. That was a lyric I wrote back in whenever that came out, and there was a few years where I guess like I don't know if you know much about Florida and like the South or well, I guess the U.S. now, shit, but there's like a big opioid thing going on.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there was a little while where it was like we were doing rap music and I was doing rapper drugs, and it was cool, man. It was fun for a minute. I kind of put it down though because there was a couple of times, especially with my brother who I talked to a lot, where it was like we were talking and there's one conversation in particular in like 2020, right before the pandemic, where he was like, "Oh, when was the last time you did a Percocet?" And I was like, "Oh, whenever it was." I said I like got on a plane and I wanted to sleep through the flight.
Right.
And then we were talking, and then I told him about how a week ago I took some perk and we were just chilling. And then he said, "Do you realize that in the same conversation, like the same sentence, you said that there were 2 different times that were the last time you did Percocet?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah.
Because that shit will make you speak defensively, trying to like hide how much you do. And it's like without you even consciously thinking about it, your body will give answers and give excuses and give falsehoods about your drug use.
But if you want to cut your part out too, I should probably...
No, I think that's cool. You could keep it if you want.
Okay.
To get some ground. It might be the darkest fucking part of this lighthearted interview.
No, yeah, hey.
What's crazy is like it wasn't even Percocet. It was like the whole variety, man.
Like
it was like I was never
hydrocodone and things like that.
Hydrocodone was the one I was really into, actually. That was the one because it was way more accessible. Percocet's very, very rare.
Did you just
It's hard to find.
Indiana is the meth capital of America. I don't know if you know that or not.
What?
Yeah, there's a shit ton of it there. I actually, a person that I know who used to live close to me, his parents were selling meth, right? They were selling meth, and I went over to their house one time. They had like a little shed that had the windows painted over, and I asked him, I was like, "What's in there?" And he said, "That's where my parents keep the Christmas presents." I'm not even kidding. He's like, "That's where my parents keep the Christmas presents." Like a few weeks later, the cops come, they get arrested, they go to prison for like several years, and I find out that was a meth lab, and I was like right next to that. If that shit would have exploded. So Indiana's like super religious, but everyone is also doing really hardcore drugs. And I knew a lot of people that went down like really bad paths because of that.
Yeah, no, when I was a teenager and stuff, I did a bunch of hallucinogenics and I was into like Tame Impala and like happy music and like, wow, the earth is beautiful and shit. But you know what, man? When I was like starting to make rap music, I was just such a sad fucking bastard.
Yeah.
So I was just popping a bunch of hydro. I was drinking a bunch of and that shit, by the way, looking back, like if you buy lean, bro, it's 9 out of 10 times it's like cut or fake. Like,
what is lean exactly?
Well, it's a bunch of different types.
It's codeine, right?
Most of the time it's promethazine with codeine, but the one that's most common that's real, in my opinion, is hydrochloride with promethazine, and it's like from the Netherlands because it's legal there.
Yeah.
Because like all these other brands that rappers are talking about, like Lockhart and Activist and all that stuff, they're already Schedule 1, like they're illegal, like they don't exist. Like, so people are paying like $280 for ZQuil that like somebody put like cherry flavoring in or something, like it's, and then because those seals for the top of the bottle, the paper seal,
yeah,
you can just print that shit. So I know a lot of guys who like definitely thought they had some lean, but definitely did not have some lean. In fact, they did not have the lean. Being an addict is a full-time job, man.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
it really is. Yeah, but it's also it was good for the song though. I get where you're saying. I understand like with that kind of thing, like rap music and drug use, like that I guess it's just because you're rapping about something that's like real and kind of like gritty and hard. It makes it cool. I don't know.
From your mouth to God's ears.
I mean, listen, that's just it's not. I'm not saying it's like a good thing. I'm just saying. Have you ever heard of Pat the Bunny before? From Echo. Pat the Bunny. Okay, well, he was this guy who sang real super punk rock music, and then he did like a lot of drugs, and he was super punk rock, and he sang about all these songs that were like, I'm fucked up, and everyone's gonna die, I'm gonna die, and I don't even care. And then he got rehab, and then the music wasn't, as good.
Yeah, dude, I know about that life.
I don't think that's gonna happen with you though, because I've heard the new music, and it's like even better. Just saying.
Yeah, because it's still informed. I feel like I did all the drugs I had to do.
Yeah.
Like. It's part of your life journey, right? And your emotional, like how you mature. And part of it is you have to know what numbing it feels like so that you can see what facing it feels like. And that's my opinion anyway. But yeah, no, like fucking Violent Femmes fucking suck, bro. They had one good album and then they found God and got sober. And it's like
that's a good
all those bands that like become born again, man, it's pretty bad.
Right. And I'm like happy in the case. I'm like, well, that's great that you're not ruining your life anymore.
I'm glad you're not dying.
Yeah, but the music just kind of suffers because of it. Sorry. Yeah, but no, I get what you're saying. Is if your music is informed by that, then you still, you did everything you needed to do.
Well, plus my music was never about drugs. That was just sort of, I feel it's like a literary device of like, let me explain to you how I'm feeling. This is like the A, B, and C. But as a backdrop, there's this looming shadow of this fucking user kind of personality. And so that's kind of something that I wanted to convey because that's something that I'm fucking is part of it,
Yeah. Who's your favorite superhero, if you had to pick one?
I feel like if I say anything but Spider-Man, you'll hit me through.
That's not true. Spider-Man's probably not even my favorite. I like him a lot, though.
You answer first.
I don't really have a favorite. I think I like a bunch of different ones for different reasons.
Dude, I feel like Marvel fucking sucks so bad now. With just the breadth of hundreds of movies.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. I feel like that too. Yeah.
I'd say fucking if I'm not allowed to pick like someone from Watchmen, like Rorschach or some shit.
No, you are. Is that your favorite Rorschach? The fucking
no, he's not. He's not even super.
He's like he's conservative. He like loves Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, he's like an Ayn Randian.
Oh fucking, no! The interview that. Is OHTWO the next Kanye?
His
favorite Rorschach? That's a little weird.
Rorschach is literally what's his name? Henry Kissinger. He's just like, we gotta fucking get him. Like,
no, I like Rorschach too, but you like him for just because he's an interesting character, not because you like agree with his.
He's like a brooding bastard. No, I don't know. My favorite super like actually superhero. Is probably fucking Batman. I don't know.
Batman?
Fuck. Yeah.
Batman's cool. I like Batman a lot. That's a good choice.
Because of the Christopher Nolan movies. Fuck.
Yeah. I like the first two Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah, for sure.
The third one was a little, I don't know. For me at least.
There was a bunch of plot holes, yeah. It was very weird.
Yeah. Well, at the end, he just stops being Batman. He just goes on a romantic adventure with Catwoman, and he's just like, I'm out of this. I'm not going to be Batman anymore. I just want to go fuck my girlfriend in Italy. That's literally what he does.
By the way, kept lying to him throughout the entire film over and over.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, not someone that he should give up being Batman for.
bad fucking person. Like,
Yeah, that's how I felt too. But yeah, no, Batman's cool. That's a good choice. He's who doesn't love Batman? Did you watch the '90s cartoon growing up?
hell yeah, absolutely. And I watched what's it called? Batman Begin, the future one.
Oh
Fuck.
yeah, Batman Begins. Yeah, or wait, no,
Batman Begins.
it's not called Batman
No,
Begins. Batman Beyond.
Forever. No,
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, dude, we were out here, bro. I was watching the Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I've watched all that. You know, part of the problem with me, I think, is that all of those 90s cartoons, because the 90s is a weird time, right? Because like the comics during the 90s, there were some good ones, but a lot of them were like super edgy, like kind of lame. That was like when Image and a lot of these people were coming up, and I'm not really into like a lot of it. But the cartoons during the 90s were like next level. You've got Batman the animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, X-Men the animated series. Like all of these things are like so good, and like none of these MCU movies like touch it, honestly, in my opinion. They're just not as good. Like
yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I understand. What?
I feel like the problem is like they don't try and tell a story anymore. It's like half of every single MCU movie is kick down door, character you recognize from another movie walks in.
Yeah.
That's literally like, let's introduce all of these characters that, unless you watched all of the films, isn't that cool? Like,
and even if you have, it's still not that cool. You know what I mean?
oh my God, like, I don't give a shit that Hulk's here. What the fuck?
I think that there should be a law. Like, if I was going to become dictator of the United States, I would make a law that they can only make 2 superheroes movies a year. Only 2. That's all you need.
I think that, let's say this, I'll do one better. I'd say you get a trilogy every 5.
That's a lot better. There's so much now that it's just, you don't care about any of it, and so much of it. I did like that new Doctor Strange movie, and the new Batman movie was pretty good, I have to say. But besides that, like, it's all been pretty weak lately.
I haven't seen the new Batman yet. I really want to.
I was kind of weird about it because I was like, that's Edward Cullen from Twilight. That's a little weird. But then I watched it and I was like, dude, he fucking kills it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, he did such a good job.
He makes a great young Bruce Wayne for sure.
Yeah, he definitely does. I think I just had like some weird inner teenager inside of me that like still hated Twilight for some weird reason, and it was just like, I don't know about that guy. But then I watched it and I was like, I'm being stupid.
Yo, those movies are like, they do more grooming than fucking Drake. Like, they exist. They exist to be like, if you're a teenage girl and he's 100 years old, like, run it. Like,
is there a beef between OHTWO and Drake now?
Oh no, but you didn't hear about all that? Like,
yeah, no,
like,
I did, of course.
Like, yo, you 18 yet? Like,
yeah. Isn't it weird that Drake used to be the handicapped kid from Degrassi? Yeah, I know everyone always says that, but it's important to remember that when you think about Drake, I feel, because no one does, you know?
Yeah, I agree. That's all I think about. It never leaves my mind.
Well, I always think...
I wake up and I see the ceiling and I just, oh my God, Drake was in Degrassi.
He was in Degrassi. He's Canadian. He was in the Canadian show Degrassi. Did he? Yeah, it's like The Rock. Like when I see The Rock now, I just imagine him doing the eyebrow thing, you know? And then,
he's original. Yeah,
no one even
smell what he's.
Yeah, he said, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" No one even knows about that anymore.
Yeah, man.
It's fucking. That's the way society's headed.
You kids don't know how good they got it. Man. These Mr. Snappers.
Yeah, really. Did you see Black Adam?
No, but I have very little interest in seeing Black Adam.
Yeah, I didn't see Black Adam either.
It looks bad.
I was like, should I see the new DC movie with The Rock? And then I thought, nah.
Did I tear myself?
Yeah. You know, I get too weirdly emotional. Well, not emotional. Emotional is the wrong word, but I definitely am like a little weird about that kind of shit for some reason. I just feel like there's so much potential there and they completely squander it. But I remember after Batman versus Superman, I didn't watch a DC movie for like 6 years because I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know, all to your credit, man, it's like the same thing with people who read Lord of the Rings, right? And they had like 60 years or 50 years, sorry, of treasuring this story. And then it came out, and even though the movies were great, so many people were pissed about little changes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being someone like yourself and having a breadth of comics and television that is so, you treasure it, and then they give you fucking Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, I know. Well, I know.
The outrage.
Well, the weird thing about it, too, is that there's just such a huge group of people that fucking love those movies. They just act like they're like the best movies ever.
Really?
Yeah.
The
Snyder fans, I know not in real life, but just on Twitter and stuff like that. That's why they brought back the Justice League movie that was directed by Snyder or whatever, because the fans are so annoying on Twitter. Yeah, the Snyder cut. Yeah. Which, I don't know. I never saw the original Justice League movie. I just saw the Snyder cut. Which I don't even know why I watched that, honestly. I wanted to make content, you know? It's sad.
We're out, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much potential there, and they just... Because it's like, it's more... Because I like it because it's more popular than it's ever been, so, like, everyone is kind of into superheroes now, but then this is the content's so mediocre, I just wish that they would, like, go watch the good stuff, you know? That's how I feel.
Yeah, man. It's like, if you could sell your soul, right?
Yeah.
And have all the comic books made into movies, but then they're just fucking MCU movies.
Yeah, right.
This is your dick exploding. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's the pleasure thing. It's just like, oh, great, comic book movies are finally popular, but then you get like, yeah, then you get like I don't even know, what are they make? They're making a movie about like War Machine next year or something. And I'm like,
oh my God,
I'm like, why you gotta do that? Make War Machine's cool, but put him in an Iron Man movie, like, as a background character. I don't know. It's just like...
Let's make a series about the guy who died in Rogue One. It's like...
Oh, yeah. I know, dude. I can't believe anyone... People watch that. People are like, Andor? Yeah, I would love to watch that movie about the guy who died in Rogue One that I knew for, like, 20 seconds.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, Star Wars, Marvel, all that shit, like, they screwed the pooch so bad. I can't even enjoy, like, the moments I enjoyed from back in the day without being like, man, they fucking ruined that. Like,
yeah, I know. As far as, like, newer MCU, I think I just like the Doctor Strange movie because Sam Raimi did it. It wasn't, like, a great movie, but it had, like, cool Sam Raimi horror shots and stuff like that.
Awesome director, bro. He did, like, Spider-Man, and he, I think he did Mr. Robot, too.
He did what?
Mr. Robot, the show.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
But him and...
He did Evil Dead. That was, like, his big thing.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The show, right?
No, the movies.
The movie.
Yeah, the 3 movies. Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead Army of Darkness.
But I think he came back for the new show as well.
Oh, yeah, well, he came back for, like, the first episode, and then after that, he was just a producer. But he did a great job on that one episode, honestly. Like, that first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead is fucking kick-ass.
Yeah, it is. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, big shout out to Sam Raimi.
Yeah, big shout out to Sam Raimi. I wonder what kind of music he likes. I don't know, probably
just
classic 80s, I bet.
I could see him as like a Duran Duran guy.
Yeah, I could see him like a Duran Duran. I think Bruce Campbell seems like the Duran Duran guy. Hungry like the... I could totally see Bruce Campbell jamming out to that.
Yeah, he's into that, like, that poppy probably stuff, you know?
Would you say that you're the Ian Curtis of the rap game?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, now that I've heard you say that, yeah, it's fuck yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking...
we did an interview a long time ago for our last album, and we had this interviewer that described the album. He said it was like Robert Smith from The Cure wearing gold teeth. And I was like, that's the coolest shit I've ever heard, dude.
Yeah, that is awesome.
No, I don't know. I think Ian Curtis, he died very young, man. Yeah. And he didn't have a chance to really figure out, like, where... I think he could have... I don't think he got to the end of his creative fucking evolution, because I think that, especially with if you see what happened with like New Order, God, I would have loved to have heard fucking Power, Corruption, and Lies, but with Ian on it, and see what would have happened, you know. But
I know it's so.
although
sad.
maybe it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if he survived. Maybe, who knows? But
Yeah. No, that is a bummer though to think about, like where he could have gone because he was so insanely talented. But no, I guess it's just because you have a very deep voice when you sing, so it reminds me of Ian Curtis.
that's cool, man. Well, there's definitely influence there,
Yeah,
for sure. And real recognize real, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you get? I saw in one of the last music video on the YouTube channel. You're dancing. Does your dancing come from anything in particular, or do you just feel the beat and just go for it?
Yeah, so that came from being fucked up on stage, and I did it, and it was bad dancing. It's not very good, and I'm fucking copywriting that dance, bro. I got it. But
I don't think it's bad. I think it's fun to watch. You're getting super fucking into it. Like
I did it. It's just me going ham, and like, well, I did it on stage once at this place called Will's Pub, and it was a packed house. And I started doing it, and there's like a second where the whole crowd was like, "What the fuck?" And then immediately the whole crowd was like, "Yeah!" Like, losing fucking minds. And I was like, "Oh man, I'm doing this every show." So like, it's really cool because it's a way for me to like really like express myself and kind of like shake off any like not stage fright, but you know what I mean.
Get into it. Yeah.
Get into it. It puts the war face on, you know. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
And it's fucking terrible. I don't know why you think it's cool. It's pretty bad.
No, dude, people fucking cheered because they thought it's cool. Do you think they cheered because they thought it was bad? No, because it's like, I don't know. There's something about it. Don't say it's bad. Don't let people, I'm going to cut that part out. Don't let people, you should tell people, yeah, you know, it's whatever. Don't say it's bad though, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
It's just this thing I do. No big deal. You know what I mean? No, it's definitely cool, man.
I appreciate that.
Well, you said that you wanted to be original. That's definitely one way to be original. Like, just even if that just catches someone's eye and then they listen a little bit further and see that it's actually good music, then you know what I mean? Like, whatever works. And
I'm so glad you brought up the dance too, because it's like something that like it's kind of nuanced. Like, it's part of the whole package, you know? Like,
yeah, definitely, man. I dig it. You should definitely continue that. So the new music is coming out at the end of November. Where can people listen to it?
We just dropped Stalker Lean. That's out now. That's gonna be on the new album. New album's coming out the end of November. Get ready. It's gonna be on everything. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever your overlords distribute music.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio and wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, I'll put a link or something because the one song that you have out right now is on Bandcamp, right?
It's on everything.
It's on everything. YouTube as well?
The way it works is our distributor, when we release it, we kind of fucked up with Stalker Lean. What happened was we released it and it took like a week or two before Apple approved all of the credits.
Yeah.
So now it's on everything. It's on Apple, Amazon, fucking the list.
Yeah, and it's just like on your O2 YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's on O2 Topic. It's on all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Man, it's good chatting with you, bro.
Yeah.
Missed you.
Yeah, it was good talking to you too. We should do this again sometime. Maybe like after it comes out or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun, man. It's still crazy. It blows my mind that it was such a chance thing how we met. You remember how we fucking met?
Yeah, dude, we were both. It was a double date, like a fucking teenage movie. I was literally the only double date I've ever been on in my entire life.
I know. We both were just trying to get laid, and we ended up hitting it off and having a way better time chatting it up with each other. Oh, bro, do you want to meet my freaking son real quick?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Well,
this is Archie.
This part's going in the video. Look at this guy. Hey.
Archie.
The inspiration for all the music is right here, ladies and gentlemen.
All my hardest rap songs he wrote. He's a mother. He's a beast.
Listen, yeah. Breaking confession, he has a ghostwriter. It's Archie.
It's Archie, dude. He's actually named after King Cruel.
Oh, shit. Look at this guy. Adorable.
What a pooch.
What a pooch. But yeah, man, I'm glad to hear you're doing well with everything else.
Yeah, dude. So good catching up.
Yeah. Excited for the music coming out. We'll talk about that, and maybe we'll do another one of these once it comes out so we can like help promote it or whatever.
That sounds awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey man, it was good talking to you. I'll see you later, man.
All right, I'll catch you later. Peace.
See you, dude.